and this is my own copy. What we'll do today is to add i3 window manager and then boot into it and go through the basic configuration and setup. So that's the plan. So the first thing that is to install i3WM, i3 status, and synapse, but the clean install of Bookworm 64 already comes with the synapse. But if you're using another PuppyLinux, you'll have to add a synapse. Second step is we'll go and edit a small file, window manager file, change to i3, so you will boot into the i3 on the reboot. And then we'll go through the basic main configuration file briefly, and then also go through the bar. We'll have a bar. We'll go through the configuration of that briefly, and that's the plan. Synaptic package manager. So here's a launcher, synaptic package manager, and then after reload we'll go ahead and look for i3 related files, and there's a whole bunch of them. So what you have to do is go down to let's just go ahead and alphabetize with tapping on a package and go through i3. So here is the i3WM is what we want, and then i3 status is what we want. So we want to click on that mark for installation, and then status we already gets marked, so we're ready to roll here, and then apply, and it's pretty quick. So we'll go ahead and close this now, and then it's already installed. So next step is to go ahead and edit a file. So let me bring a geany back up again. So what we have to do is after installation we have to go through etc and window manager. So here's the file. What we want to do is go ahead and put it on the left side, window manager, and we want to edit it. So right now it has JWM, so we're going to have to change it to i3 and then save. So on reboot it's going to boot into i3. Now after rebooting and entering return key twice, you should come to a screen similar to this. So now to go ahead and initiate a terminal, what you have to do is a super and enter key will start a terminal. So here's a terminal, and we can go ahead and rocks filer. So here to initiate synapse launcher, control and spacebar will bring a launcher, and we're going to just enter rocks filer. And now because it's a tiling manager, we come to this. So here we want to go to .config, and then there should be a i3 folder that's been created, and here is the file. So now at this point we'll just go ahead and edit it. So we want to go ahead and right click on it and go to geany. Now we won't need this, so we'll go ahead and go to config window here, and now if you want to close any application in initial i3, what you have to do is super shift and Q will close. So again, here we don't need the terminal, so Super, Shift, and Q. Now we are able to modify configuration files. So we want to go to, first we want to, I want to modify a terminal, this to xterm, because that's what I use on my daily driver. And then we also want to change the kill window command rather than Super Shift Q. What I tend to do is just use a F4 key. Now next I'd like to change the keyboard shortcut for tabbed layout. So we'll just use the Super Shift plus T for tabbed, and then similarly to get back to the regular tiling mode of split, we're gonna go ahead and Shift plus E to get back to the regular tiling split, and then we don't need the tiling and floating. Similarly, we don't need that, and parent, we won't need that for now. So we'll just go all the way down to, please note that right now we're gonna Super Shift and R is going to read the configuration changes. So but after that, what we want to do, so right now Super Shift R is going to read this configuration change, but afterwards what I want to do is just have that change to a restart. So let me just show you. So right now Super Shift R is going to reread this configuration file, and then after that, every time I make a change, I'll just go ahead and so you'll notice that there is an error. So let's just take a brief look at this error before we proceed. So there is something to do with the neg bar. So what we need to do is just go ahead and F4, we're gonna close, and then go to something to do with the neg bar, NAG. Let's see, there it is, NAG. So we won't need this here, so we'll just go ahead and comment that out. Now we're going to just Shift Control and R to read the configuration change, then there's no error. Now I think that's for, oh okay, and also I don't need the resize configuration mode, so I'm just going to erase these. So Control L is going to, Control K is going to just erase all these. I don't need a resize window. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that for now. And now we made significant changes. Control Shift and R again. So we can go ahead and start the terminal with a Super T. I want to make another minor change before we proceed. So rather than having Super and return key to start a terminal, I should have, we want to just change that to T, and then save, and then reread the configuration file. Now we're ready to roll here. Now I can just click on Super and T, and now I want to show you tabbing functions. So right now there's two different tiling mode. So if I go ahead and we may change to Super Shift and tiling T, you can see that it is full window down here, but you have two different choices up here. So this is what I prefer. The regular tiling mode, Super Shift E is the key. Now, although you see a functioning i3 bar here, you cannot modify to your to my satisfaction. So what we need to do is move a copy a file that's been already installed when you install i3 at WM. So this file we want to copy to .config i3 folder. So we'll just go ahead and copy this, and then here is a file i3 status config, and we're gonna move a copy to root .config i3 where our main configuration file is. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then now we want to go ahead and load it up into geany with this command. And then here, now we've loaded it up. So we'll go ahead and take a closer look at that with the Control-Shift-T. And then you can go to Super J. Now we want to just go ahead and take a closer look. And what I don't need is all this. Only thing I need is to have a clock in addition to these icons here. So we'll just simplify everything except for the clock. So here, where you do that and just maintain with the TZ time local is fine. And then my preference is to change the format to A, B, D, and then L, M, and P. So I saved the file. Now we want to go back to here, and then next step is to go ahead and we copied it, and what we need to do is link this i3 bar configuration file and to the main configuration file of i3. So we're gonna just make a copy of this, copy, and then go through the main configuration file here and go all the way down to the end, and then add to this here what we copied. So Control V. So now we save it again. Now we're gonna go Control Shift and R to reread this changed file. So let's just keep looking at the bar here since it's gonna be linked now. So now you can see that there is a Wednesday, April 9th, and so on. So that's what we want. Giving you a lot of information and giving you overall view of how to add a i3 tiling manager function to your PuppyLinux. All the details of what I went through is actually in a very well written guide right here. So we'll just take a brief look at so we'll make a copy, and then we'll go ahead and fire up Firefox, and then it's installing updates, and then we'll go ahead and enter into mode here. So here is the page, and it gives you a lot of information on how to configure everything. So this is where I got most of the information. So I hope this has been helpful for you.